Hey, what's going on? My name's Jose Mangin. Welcome to another awesome episode of Zippo Encore Live. I'm over here at my home in Costa Mesa, California, and I hope that you are doing awesome, healthy, and safe right now. And of course, just trying to keep entertained any way you can. And when I thought of bringing on a guest after all these cool weeks of having musicians on, I was like, let's bring on somebody, one of my favorites out there that does rock instruments, but you know what? He's known for other things. Comedian, actor, and all-around hermano, George Lopez. Welcome to Zippo Encore Live, hermano.
Thank you very much. My first lighter was Zippo, and in cleaning up the last couple of months I've been here in the house, there's a couple of Zippos, a few of them here.
Oh, cool. They might be left over from all your cool parties you have, George, or are they yours?
No, I think they're probably left over from all the cool parties that I have.
Hey, that's awesome. What year did you get your first Zippo, as you mentioned it?
Well, let's see. I think I got my Kiss Zippo might have been in 1977. I remember, we used lighter fluid back then, so it was it was the best light you could get, and it was maybe the coolest you could look ever lighting something was with a Zippo.
That's right, man. That's cool. And your first one was a Kiss one? That's badass.
And then you kind of go like that, there's something you go like that, and then
I could never do that. Could you do that move? Like, could you
yeah.
flick it and light that? I can't. I still can't do that. Mine falls on the ground all the time.
No, that's another. Do you know how everybody you go to Mexico and they go like that and they snap their fingers?
Yep.
I can't do that either. So,
It's all.
or do the beer cap like that. I can't do that either.
Yeah, I can't do that either, man. I mean, people, and then some people can open up bottle caps with anything. I've seen people open up with their skin and stuff. I'm like, what are you doing? Like some crazy ass callus or something.
The guy that I tour with, Brian, takes his wedding ring and he does it with his wedding ring. And I thought, I don't think it's worth getting remarried to be able to open a beer bottle.
Hey, dude. Well, thank you, brother, for hanging out with us again. You're home I mean, you're in LA, but like, what's that area called that you're in?
It is by the observatory, Los Feliz.
Los Feliz. There you go, man. So, and are you holding up good, George? How are you doing, man? How you been?
Let's see. I've gone through different stages. When in the beginning of March, when they said, okay, maybe the middle of April, then they said the middle of May. I thought I won't make it, and it's been interesting. I have a compromised immune system because of the transplant that I had in 2005. So I have to be extra careful. But also, I have been extra careful. But I'm not one of those people that thinks that this is a hoax or this is a conspiracy. I know what this is, and I know that my best chance to stay healthy is to stay home.
Hey, do you have some cool masks, George? I know there's some really cool ones going around. Let me just show you mine, George. I got
Aha!
I got one right here.
That's awesome, dude. Slayer.
Yeah, dude. But I have a Black Sabbath and a Pantera one también. I mean, I can
That's
see you
awesome.
rocking a cool mask, man. What's your favorite mask that you rock?
Well,
You got a
we had
Kiss
some
one? You got a Santana one?
Chingona mask made.
That's it. Yeah, I've seen those on your
No, I
Instagram.
don't have a Santana one.
Yeah, you need to get like
We
a
have one
cool.
of the Sarape.
That's awesome,
Yeah.
dude. Hey, and speaking of Santana, I know you are a huge fan, and I just see. Remember, when you had your show, and he jam on your TV show back in the day, George?
He was the first guest that night. Was Eva Longoria, who we're still friends. Ellen DeGeneres came by. Kobe Bryant, God rest him, and his daughter and everybody. And then Carlos. Yeah, so Carlos and I have been friends since 2004. So he's a good dude. I've seen some great concerts before I met him, but getting to see him and then go backstage and hang out with him is really amazing, man. That
I
dude's
can't even
he's incredible, you
imagine.
know.
So, I mean, would you say that that's one of the moments that George Lopez got starstruck was with Carlos Santana?
I can't hear you, dude. Did I
Oh,
say
is
something
that one
wrong?
of the moments where that you got starstruck with Carlos Santana? Like just when you are
Um,
there people that you've met before that you're just like, I can't believe I'm hanging out with this person?
you know what? Hang on, man. I'm having trouble with the
Yeah.
audio.
Okay. Yeah, I can
Um,
hear you.
hang on.
All right, cool. George Lopez on Zippo Encore Live. Some technical
Oh,
difficulties. Yo, 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 check. Orale.
hang on.
Yep.
Hang on. I'm gonna disconnect.
All right. There we go. Couple minutes in with here with Mr. Lopez from his home in Los Feliz. And technical difficulties, man. It happens, man. We had M Shadows on from Event Sevenfold, and that was a lot of fun. What's up, George?
Technical difficulty. Can you hear me? I can't hear. I can't hear you.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? Yo, 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 check. Yeah, yeah. Hey now. Check George. Check George. Let me see. I can't. Hey, yo, George. Check. Yo, yo, yo. Hermano, check. 1 2. 1 2 1 2. Can you hear me?
I can't hear.
Oh, well, reconnect. How can we say that right now? Leah, maybe we can just. It's all good, brother. Just hang up and reconnect us. This is funny. Let me see. All right, cool. All right. Hey now. What's going on? Jose here, chilling with George Lopez. I want to talk to him about his parties, man. There's been a lot of cool people that have been at the George parties that I've been very honored to attend over the years. And let me check some screens here. Let me check. Come back in. Yes, I will. Hold on. I'm just doing a couple of texting here. Hey, come come back. What do I say? Um, oh, come back in. Yeah, come back in. Okay. Hey now, check. Okay. Hi, welcome back. Let's see.
Okay. That,
Orale, George. Hey now, George, I can hear you. I can hear you. Oh man, I did hear him for a second. Well, this is a good time to pour a little tequila. I was gonna wait for George, but I wasn't sure if he had any. I should have told him to get some tequila while he was resetting his sound so that we can do a little cheers.
can you hear me?
Orale, yes, I can hear you.
I can hear you now. I'm not gonna do the, but I don't know what happened.
All right, cool, man. I can hear you, dude. What's up, George? Thanks for coming back, brother.
Yeah, dude.
Cheers.
Cheers. I don't know what happened.
As we were getting ready, I poured myself a little tequila. I know you're a fan of tequila.
I am absolutely. I've always been.
Are you more of an añejo, reposado, blanco?
I'm more of a let's say I like the añejo, but usually when I do it, it's usually like the platinum Patron or a light taste. But the añejos are great.
Añejos are awesome, man. Yeah, I was just saying as we were reconnecting, some of your awesome parties that you've thrown, George. I mean, dude, there's been some crazy people that I have never in a million years thought I would be sitting next to. I lit the stogie of Meta World Peace at your
Yep.
party. What was his name back before he changed his name on the
Ron
Lakers? What was it?
Artest.
That's it. He was there and he just turned around to me and he was like, "Hey, you got a light?" I was like, "Yeah." And I lit his stogie and I met Kid from Kid and Play there, Efren Ramirez, the dude that plays Pedro in Napoleon Dynamite.
Yep.
I mean, dude, you and Cedric jamming with this all-star band, and dude, that's so cool, man, to get up and just at your own party and just start throwing down. George, what are some of your favorite songs to sing? Go ahead.
What was crazy was that all that band played at Cedric's golf tournament. A lot of them were studio guys, but a lot of guys that played with Michael Jackson, they played with Stevie Wonder, they played with Steely Dan. So they were like the most accomplished band that worked mostly in the studio. They toured with some bands, but they said that they got together and said, let's just start jamming and let's start booking gigs, just us. But those guys were amazing.
Yeah, dude. Hey, George, what's your favorite song to get up at any party, yours or anybody's? If there was a band playing, and you had the chance, and you were able to say, "Hey, play this one." I got the microphone. What would you get up and sing? Because I saw you sing a bunch of songs, and you were dancing, bro. It was so much fun. But what's your number one go to cover song to sing?
I think it's well, I did on the train tour with Matt Nathanson. I sang uh, uh, AC/DC. You shook me all night long.
Oh yeah.
And I'd been golfing in the Bahamas. We were back on the ship that night. They had a big party, and he told me a couple days before, "Hey, I'm going to bring you up. Okay, well, what do you want to do?" And I said, "Yeah, we can do that. We can do You Shook Me All Night Long." And yeah, a couple margaritas, a couple shots of Fireball, and all of a sudden he goes, "Is George here?" And I'm like, "Oh, I forgot." Oh. And I went up and I did it. I said, "You know what? You got to commit. If you're going to do anything, especially rock, you got to commit. You can't, if you go in, you go all in and you go all the way through. Nobody wants to see half of You Shook Me All Night Long."
Dude, I mean, how'd your throat feel after that?
I don't know. I don't know how those guys do it. I don't know how they
Yeah.
do it for years and years and years. And you know that everything that they put into their body, if they smoke, if they drink, everything goes through this area right here, the best, most important area. And those, when you're a rock god, you can put everything through that part and it still stays as good as it's always been. And if it doesn't, if the gravel makes it better, the you know, the technology. But if you can't sing, it won't take people long to find out.
Dude, speaking of rock gods, behind you, I saw earlier a cool Led Zeppelin thing. I mean, Robert Plant, Jimmy Page. I
Yeah.
mean, Zeppelin, to me, they're AC/DC and Led Zeppelin are my all-time favorite hard rock bands, whatever you want to call them. But Led Zeppelin, dude, I mean, dude, they are the best. Now, let me ask you, who is who has the number one hard rock song in your opinion? Is it AC/DC? Is it Led Zeppelin? Is it who? Who is the greatest to you? Hard rock, George.
Well, I think when you think about like Kashmir or the Immigrant Song or Whole Lot of Love or Black Dog, thinking about the 80s with AC/DC, the late 60s through the late 70s with Zeppelin. Uh, I like Zeppelin. I like that they did a lot of bluesy stuff, but then they could do like that, like Black Dog or you know, Stairway to Heaven. I have to say Stairway to Heaven.
They're so good, man. I mean, maybe there was some other controlling factor behind their music or whatever, dude. But there was some amazing stuff, and I know you're a huge fan of Van Halen. I know you've got some really cool guitars. You hang out with Eddie Van Halen
Yeah.
and the Van Halen brothers and stuff. That's a really cool relationship, George. That I know you are. I know you know how lucky you are to have that.
You know, 10 years ago when I was doing my talk show, they said to me, "Well, you know, who are your favorite, you know, guitarists?" And I'm like, "Well, you know, I like Van Halen, I like Jimmy Page, I think Nugent." I said Ted Nugent and Santana. And then one morning they said, "Come into the office," and I went to the office, and there's a young lady there, attractive lady, and I said, "Oh, how you doing?" She goes, "I'm Jamie." Janie. And I said, "Oh, Janie, how you doing?" And she goes, "My husband wanted you to have this." And I said, "Okay." And they open it up and it's this one.
Wow.
And you can't listen, you can't put that on with oil. That's use. And
Wow.
and then she says, "My husband is Eddie Van Halen." And I was like, "Oh my God." And he said, "You should call him up and you guys, I think you guys are members of the same golf club." And I said, "Yeah, I think, yeah, we are." And I called him up and we went and had dinner and we talked about kind of being an introvert and him and his family and his mom and the Indonesian, the Dutch. And then I said, hey, aren't we members of the same club? And I got Eddie playing again. And he loves golf. He loves to play. We get out there early.
Wow.
And to see him and to have him, trade messages and call him and say, hey, I love you, man. And you're walking out there with him golfing, and it's a beautiful day like this. And it's Eddie Van Halen. You're just like, man, I mean, it's made special because that music to me at that time in my early 20s, it meant so much to me. That music meant so much. The fact that they were from LA, Pasadena, meant a lot to me. I mean, those dudes are larger than life. David Lee Roth, the way he looked, the way he dressed, those four guys, Zeppelin, like you said, AC/DC. I saw him at Coachella a few years ago. I saw Paul McCartney there, and you look at those guys and they elevate, their presence elevates them even without an instrument, but then with an instrument, you think, man, they're just an amazing. I said to Eddie, hey, where did you get the idea to put those stripes on there? And he was just, I'm bored. I was bored. And I was like, it looks boring, So I went in there, I put some tape over it. I spray painted it. I took the tape off and I said, it looks cool. I painted it black, and then I painted it white. Then I painted it red. And then I took the stripes off. And then it's up at the Universal Amphitheater or City Walk, the Hard Rock Cafe, is that red Frankenstrat guitar. And I told him, do you ever go up there and see it? And he's like, nah, the day that they unveiled it, I did. But if there was a guy that was less assuming of his position in music or his position in rock, it's Eddie.
Yeah. I mean,
I said, you wrote Ain't Talking About Love. And he goes, yeah. He goes, I did it because it was like almost like when punk was there. He goes, that whole hey. He goes, that was like our giving punk rock a little bit of a jab. And I thought, wow, man. Hey. A great part of it.
Of course. And how about Sammy fronted Van Halen?
And then I saw Sammy in Fantasy Springs in the desert, and he had Michael Anthony with him, and he and I became friends. And he had Jason Bonham drumming, and the guy from Bus Boys, guitar player. Amazing group. They played all of Sammy's stuff. They played some Van Halen stuff together, and that's another fit. Like when David left and Sammy went in there, where their guys were working on their same cars together, and Eddie went in there, and the guys like Italian guy goes, "What were you looking down at? I lost my singer. Hey, you ought to call Sammy Hagar because his car, he was just in here earlier." And they did, and they went up to 5150, and they went in there and started jamming. But when I first went to Eddie Van Halen's house, and I said, "Where's 5150?" and he goes, "It's right there. You turn around and up at the back of his property it's painted gray on the outside, and then it has 5150 on the outside. And then you look at it, you're like," he goes, "I will go up there later on. I'll take you up there." And you go in there, and it's a studio, and he just like a master magician goes over to the wall and starts tapping things, and lights are going on, and consoles are starting, and all of a sudden you look at the room over there. It's got this rack of guitars, and you said, "Did you guys do Hot for Teacher in there?" "Yeah, all that stuff, Panama, and all that stuff." And you go in there, and he's with you, and you're just like, wow. And then he said, I took him to the Laker game, this picture that we have, and when the Lakers come out, they play Right Now, but the piano, the synthesizer part of it. Yeah. And as we sit down, they start to play it. Boom, dun, 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 boom. And Eddie, right before he's getting ready to sit down, he goes, "I wrote this."
That's so cool, man. And that's, what about, have you ever had a chance to hang out with Wolfgang, his son?
Yeah, I actually spent Thanksgiving with Wolfie and his lady, and then Ed and I and a friend of Leon, and then Matt, Eddie's tech, and we all went over to Valerie Bertinelli's house and had Thanksgiving. I mean, listen, man. I mean, Valerie Bertinelli, for one, she's from the San Fernando Valley. She went to Granada Hills. I went to San Fernando. Our birthdays are on the same day, and she's cool, man. It was a one day at a time. And then we go out and look at the view of her house. It overlooks all of the valley, from Pasadena all the way to the valley, to the Burbank Airport, all as far as you can see to Calabasas. Like this is a whole scope. And I'm like, not bad for a couple of kids from the valley, huh? And she's like, no,
Yeah.
not at all.
Nice, man. That's so cool. Hanging here with George Lopez, Zippo Encore Live. Dude, there's a lot of stuff, here during quarantine. We're trying to keep busy, whether it's music, watching cool documentaries on rock bands,
Yeah.
like the Led Zeppelin one. But what about movies? Are there any like pick me up movies that you would recommend? Like, what are some of your favorite funny movies, George?
Well, first of all, Rockstar with Mark Wahlberg, I think is a great movie.
Love that. And Jennifer Aniston is in it.
Jennifer Aniston,
Yeah.
the little dude that's the road manager, that little guy looks like the critic, that little slug
Yeah,
dude.
yeah.
That dude's awesome. When they go in there and he starts singing and he's like, "Take it easy, mate. Relax." And he
Yeah.
starts singing, "Stand up and shout." And then the other dude comes in, he takes the wig off. He goes, "You think you're the king?" He goes, I'm the queen." He takes it off and just immediately looks sad. And man, it's like, that's what happens though. I mean, you see,
Yeah.
guys that lose their singers, guys that change singers, bands that change members. Some are never accepted by the fan stuff. It's a risky thing to do. And sometimes it's a seamless transition, and sometimes it changes the dynamic of the band. Metallica got away with losing Dave Mustaine, and they pick up Robert, and it takes off. Even they have problems amongst themselves with Hetfield, all this stuff, and Grohl does Foo Fighters after Nirvana, and those dudes create all these hits, and you get Pat Smear in it, and you think,
Yeah, George, you know
it's
your
gotta be
shit, bro.
it's gotta be the one dude. Like Grohl was the one dude that knew the business side of it and the music side of it.
For me, dude, Dave is one of the leading role models in rock music. I think he is, the most loved between all types of rock music, all generations. I think everyone would be like, yeah, the veterans and all the kids. We all come to a happy medium with Dave Grohl, man.
And
He's such a
and,
badass.
and he spans generations of music.
Yeah.
Respects the early days, loves the early days, and then he's able to throw a party where you don't know who's coming out, and then every guest, every musician, every era of rock, and then they just start breaking into Detroit Rock City. They start breaking into some Queen and all of that stuff. It's funny when Paul Rodgers was with Queen and they played the Hollywood Bowl. I took a guy that I know that worked on my show, my prop guy, and we're getting all excited, and we sit there, and I'm like, I wonder if they're gonna play "Tie Your Mother Down." It was the first song, like right out of the box, man. You're like,
Nice. Hey, George, who would you say is your favorite concert band that you've seen live?
Well, I've seen a lot of concerts. I went to the Coliseum in 1984 when the Clash opened for the Who. That was a good one. I saw Van Halen at the Forum when their first time they headlined um, uh, in LA at the Forum, and then I saw Kiss come to in 1976 and Cheap Trick open for them, and then I saw. I've seen some great stuff. Knowing Kiss now, probably the last year, I've probably gone to 15 Kiss shows, gone on the jet with them, and traveled to shows with them. I saw them in Glasgow, Scotland. I flew back on the plane with Paul and Gene and Eric and Tommy after they did a show in Dayton, Ohio. Doc and I are friends, so those guys will be like, "Come out, man," and then we'll give you a ride back. I mean, we were sitting, it's like Paul Stanley and I, everybody was asleep. And Paul Stanley and I were having something to eat. That a flight attendant on the plane. And I said, "So is this really it?" And he kind of stops and he goes, "Yeah, I think so." He goes, "Because, it's not ever reported." He goes, "But my knees are bad. I had hip replacement surgery. I've torn the
Yep.
bicep away from my muscle. I've had my ankle hurt. I've had every part of my body hurt, and you still go and tour like that. He goes, I love the way we sound. I love the way we're doing it. Because, but this I think is it. Just because I don't think they have anything to prove to anybody, but it might be.
Dude, I mean, being in a rock band takes its toll. I remember it must have been over 10 years ago. And this was, I think, when AC/DC put out the Black Ice album. That might have been 2008 or so, 12 years ago. And I remember seeing them play at New York City, Madison Square Garden. Angus Young, I mean, just jumping around, doing everything he's doing. And then I had an interview with SiriusXM with Angus the next day. And I met him in his hotel room. And dude, he could barely walk. He came out and he was like, he had a walker. And I was just like, oh shit. Last night on stage, he was doing the one-legged hop. And then he was walking into the interview. And I was just like, man, what these guys put themselves through. So I mean, nobody wants to not do what they love, but it does come to a point where it's just, you have to.
I think you're right, man. I mean, to see guys like that is just, if there's one thing that we cannot control is time, and time eventually takes away the people that we love the most. In the time of quarantine and time of thinking, having this much time off and being able to finally clear my head a little bit, you start to realize that we need to I think we should honor more of the people that are here while they're here, instead of waiting for something to happen to them before we all realize that how much we love someone for who they are and for what they do, because it is a fast life. Even if you live to 100, I think you're probably laying there wishing you had 100 more. So time does really go by fast. But to be able to share your life with people that love music and be able to, we went to go see Ted Nugent in 1978, and the next day we took our high school yearbook pictures, and we all had a TNT t-shirt, the same one, like 10 guys. Ted Nugent tour with a dog, and he's got this rifle, and we all take our class picture with the Ted Nugent thing on. And then Ted Nugent and I have become friends, politics aside. And then I just took all the guys that were in my high school class to go see him last year. And we always go backstage and say hello. And he's always great to my friends and great to me. And those
cool.
are the things that, I've met people that it changed my opinion of them for not for the better afterwards. But that guy called me on my birthday. And that's one of the best guys I think I've met that rocks, that doesn't get high. Although some of that stuff you saw in 19 Cal Jam, I don't know. I'd beg to differ that somebody could get that elevated with just adrenaline. So, but I mean, those guys, Kiss, Santana, Slash, to be able to call those guys friends, to be able to sit with them and talk to them, too. You get, you meet somebody that you've admired so much, and they end up being a good person. It's the best. It's a plus on a plus.
It's George, the thing that I love to tell people the most. I've been at SiriusXM now for 20 years, being in charge of the heavy metal and hard rock and delivery here in the North American part of this planet. My favorite thing is when my idols become my friends.
Right.
That is something I could never imagine being on the Van Halen or Kiss jet. You know what I'm saying? I can't even. But I've been able to, Ozzy, Rob Halford, the guys in Metallica and Slayer and Megadeth and Pantera, all these bands that I love. And it's just really cool to call these dudes friends. And likewise to you, George, as well, man. It's like my whole family. You didn't see it, everyone watching, but before we started, my whole family came over to say hi to George, and it was so cool. My wife, my 2 daughters, we love you here, bro. And it's just really cool, man. And I love it how we have other Mexicanos that love rock music,
Yeah,
and you're waving that flag everywhere you go and stuff, and I love that. I try to do the same thing, and I'm always trying to, at least now, George, more than ever, I talk Spanish on the radio every
yeah,
day, just so that people can hear, and they'll be like, oh, whoa, there's somebody that's like me, that's on this thing,
right.
So I try to represent, proudly for other Latinos, George, man.
Well,
So, and I,
we all love music. We love our own music, but also we love rock music. Eddie told me one time that Van Halen was really big in Brazil, and this is when the first, like, the World Vacation Tour, and they did a big concert, and then the promoter was a guy who was a little bit sketchy, and then he says, so tomorrow, for the show tomorrow, and then they go, we don't have a show tomorrow, and he says, no, yeah, you guys are gonna go over here to this other place, and he's like, no, we're not, and he goes, yeah, you are, and they did. That guy.
well,
That dude made him go to a show in another part of Brazil, and just because they had done so well, that guy sold tickets to another show, and he didn't tell him until they got there. And I go, well, what did you guys do? He goes, he had all our equipment, man. They got we just said, all right, and they were trying to be like, no, we'll come back and we'll do another one. He's like, no, tomorrow.
Hey, George, can you tell me before we wrap up here, dude? Tell me about your foundation. Do you have any updates with the George Lopez Foundation, and on maybe there's some way that our viewers can help?
Yeah, sure. Thank you for that. The George Lopez Foundation, georgelopezfoundation.org. It's on Instagram. It's on Twitter. We help kids who are afflicted with kidney disease. I had a transplant in 2005, and sometimes we were doing a camp for kids. Sometimes they're the only kid in their family to be sick, the only kid in their school, and you always feel a little bit different if you're sick. So we've done kidney camp and help kidney families, Make-A-Wish Foundation stuff. And right now they're doing food cards for people who are struggling, and donating clothes and finding things to help people every day. So just go to the foundation, the website, or Instagram, George Lopez Foundation, and leave a message, or find on Facebook, and they always get back.
Nice, man. George, and what's next for you, hermano? What are you doing after all this is done? I mean, what's up next for you, man?
Well, we did a couple of movies that we did El Chicano last year that came out. There's another movie, No Man's Land, and there's a movie, Tax Collector. And I think that the show is going to start next month on NBC streaming, the first show that everybody loves so much. And there's another special coming out in the beginning of July.
Okay, cool, man. Right on, dude. Well, I love that, man. Well, George, dude, keep playing guitar, keep
Yeah, brother.
smiling, brother, dude. I,
Yeah,
I
dude.
I love it, man. And I'll crank up some Van Halen in your honor
Let's go. Beautiful. Thanks.
after we're done with this, man.
All
Yeah,
right.
of course, dude. Hey, George, mucho gusto, dude.
Anytime.
Again, thanks for
Gracias.
everything. Thanks for the invites to the party. I love going to those, man.
Yeah.
You know that.
You're
Hey,
always
and my
welcome,
friend.
bro.
And my friend Tony, who played with you guys. Remember my friend Tony? He played
Oh, yeah.
bass. Yeah, Tony Castaneda. He says hello too, man. So.
And at that party, if you remember, as I got later, when Sync came up and Tony was playing, and he started playing Sabbath, just like at high school, all the chicks left and all the dudes came outside.
Dude, that's exactly what happened, and I do. It always happens when we play hard rock and metal. The chicks leave every time. It doesn't fail, like you said.
Yeah,
dude. There was a ton of people there, and all of a sudden Black Sabbath starts, and then people just leave. You're right, but all the cool people stayed behind, George, and that was you and I and some others as well.
If I ever want anybody to get out of my house, I'll just play War Pigs, and everybody will take off.
Dude, brother, thank you, George, for hanging out with us, man. We'll see you soon, man. No problem, dude.
Right
all right, man. Thank you, man.
Right on,
yeah. That's awesome. George Lopez hanging out here, Zippo Encore Live. That's pretty badass, man. It's true, though. You play metal at a party where there's a bunch of... unless it was just a metal party to begin with, then then people won't leave. But if you, I promise you, if you do this, and you'll see. I mean, just if you're at a party, try it, and they're playing like dance music, and people are dancing and stuff, and it's like cool and R&B, and then it's like jazzy, cool rock, and all this, and then all of a sudden it's freaking War Pigs, and they were playing some other Black Sabbath songs, and all the chicks left. Thanks to George Lopez. More information on his foundation, georgelopezfoundation.org. And again, really, it's just awesome. Like I said, when these people that we've looked up to over the years become friends, it's really crazy. And it's nice when I moved to California 5 years ago, and linking up with George first in New York City at our Sirius XM studios, and then back when I moved to California, my family and he was just so cool, man. So yeah, all right. So we've had some really cool guests on Zippo Encore Live over the weeks. We had Maria Brink from In This Moment. I had Mark Morton from Lamb of God and solo artist as well, and Lizzie and Joe from Hailstorm, and M Shadows from Avenged Sevenfold, and then last week we had Brent Smith from Shinedown. We had George Lopez this week, and then I got a really cool guest for next week, and then I got another cool guest for the Thursday following that, man. So really cool, man. George Lopez. We talked a lot about Van Halen and Santana. I had some other little notes here. I wanted to ask him about his favorite comedians, but we mostly talked about rock, which is pretty cool since this is all over live on Revolver and Ink. There's a lot of rock fans. I think I did ask him his favorite funny movies, but then we started talking more about rock music. Yeah, man. All right, cool. I think I got to that, man. So that was fun. So, let me show you. Look what I got. I got this. And remember, I don't know if you were watching last week, but at the end of the video, I knew I had a package, and it was in my garage, and it was this awesome Zippo, the Z2 Vision. I just got my very own. It is available now at Zippo.com. Yeah, I just put some fluid in there. What's the second light? But I got mine, and I'm pretty stoked about that. So, I was gonna tell George that I'm sending him some Zippos. I'll text him. I'll tell him. So that was, yeah, I have a cool care package that I want to give to George as a thank you for doing this. And he bought his first Zippo in the 70s, and it was a Kiss Zippo. It's pretty cool story right there. I love that. All right, so yeah, what else are we doing? Yeah, we got a cool giveaway, and I got my friend Aaliyah here. This is the one that we're giving away. So we had a cool Zippo that we were doing last week, and we gave that out. Congratulations to the winner. And now we have this cool iridescent one. It's a new 2020 Zippo, and we want to get this in your hands, man. So if you want this, there is the URL. It's on the screen right there. Stuck at Home Sweeps. You can see it. I will be putting up a link on my socials as well. Zippo Encore will do the same thing, and I hope you follow at Zippo Encore, Instagram, of course, Facebook, Twitter, and I'm at Jose Mangin on these socials. But yeah, this really cool iridescent lighter can be yours if you just register for it, and good luck. It's a really cool feeling to get something in the mail, especially a badass like Zippo lighter. That's what you want right there. So yeah, and I guess let me do a little cool cheers, a little bit more, because then I gotta start working again. I gotta start. Man, look, I got my Mexican hat on. I got my cool Mexican shirt. I'm sure George saw it though. You know what I'm saying? I always wear this hat. This is the Deftones hat, by the way. Los Deftones. One time, I got a chance to introduce the Deftones on stage. It was at Knotfest Ozfest in California, and I did it in English and Spanish on stage, and I introduced the Deftones as and give it up for Los Deftones. It was cool, man. So cheers to George Lopez. Thanks to you for watching. Sipping on some good añejo. It's cool to find out that George is more of a blanco dude. I thought he was going to be more of an añejo guy, which is a dark tequila, but that's cool, man. Blancos are awesome. I use blancos for margaritas, man, and then I sip on the But sipping on some blanco, man. The only time I sip on a blanco is if I'm at a concert, and because most venues or bars, a lot of concerts. I don't go to bars. I go to concerts. We did all the time. And yay, Kevin, yeah, brother, Kevin Rammer, cheers, brother. Yeah, dude. Hey, Deb, hi. Oh, thank you. Working at home bearable because of octane and liquid metal. That's awesome. My family would kill me if I have it on all day, but then they get mad sometimes if because it's all over the house. So maybe that's why they get mad. And then the other day I turned on mandatory Metallica on Sirius XM, and it was in a area that was near our youngest daughter, and she got so mad. I just heard the door slam, and then I was like, "Hey, what happened?" And it was Ava. She was mad that the music was so loud, man. Whatever. But it does make work bearable. I think any sort of hard rock and metal does the trick, especially like when you're cleaning, doing like organization, all that stuff. I love to do that, man. I'm working on a cool project. I'm still like working on garage stuff. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on over here. So, but seriously, thank you for watching Zippo Encore Live. I've got a really cool guest next week. He is from, I'll give you a hint, he's from Pennsylvania, and he has also been a guest on our Zippo series that we did at these festivals, Dudes Talking in a Truck. And he did a really cool one that I thought was just so interesting. Sometimes when I start talking to these musicians, I have really I don't know what I'm going to say. And it just kind of goes to where it goes. And I remember that interview with this particular dude who we'll be talking to next week. It went down a lot of cool avenues that I didn't really know we were going to go down. And it ended up being really cool. So I want to talk more to him next week. And like I said, I have another cool guest the following week. And that's where I'm going to show off my cool Zippo collection that I've had. I don't have a 1970 something Kiss Zippo like George Lopez does, but I got some cool ones. And I'll show those off on not next Thursday, but the next Thursday. You got it? Follow me at Jose Mangin, Instagram, Cameo, Twitter. And thank you so much for watching. And be healthy, safe, listen to more rock music, and be cool, man. We're going to get through this together, all right? Thanks to George Lopez and the entire Zippo team. We'll see you later. Peace.